The title of this video is a question I've been thinking about all week because Kendall and I went to the 2025 Waste Expo in Las Vegas, Nevada, which is an event put on by Waste 360. Leading up to this event, I asked people their opinions of this event, and a lot of folks said regular Joes, mom and pops, they don't really go to that trade show. It's mainly for corporate execs, mucky mucks, big companies, that kind of thing. And so part of why we went was to see if that's the case. And to answer the question, I'm not sure I know the answer. It's a tricky thing. First of all, because when I used to go to expos for the green industry, mowing lawns, even if you had really big companies that were there, their employees were still getting the work done with the same tools that I was as a solo operator. They were using string trimmers, hedge trimmers, backpack blowers. All the same tools that the very big companies were looking at were the same tools that the very small companies were looking at. And generally, you only had lawn care, landscaping, and hardscaping. Those are pretty much the three industries, and there was a lot of crossover in between those three industries. But this trade show, Waste Expo, it has stuff for people who operate landfills. It has things for people who operate recycling facilities where they have to sort out multiple stream recycling into single stream products. It's got things for waste haulers. And unless you're a large company like Waste Management, there will never be crossover between those things for smaller companies. The other thing is that the difference in equipment between people like me who are scraping together everything they can to buy a $130,000 Isuzu 8-yard rear load, and the large companies who are buying dozens of $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 machines. Some of the electric things these guys have that are completely impractical if you were a mom and pop to buy, that these large companies can dump tons of money in because they either have investor dollars or because they have contracts that require this adoption of electric. It is mind-boggling when you see the chasm that is present between those two groups. Waste Expo itself is not set up to really pay much attention to the little guys. Most of the networking events, most of the education events that I saw, they were all super broad policy, long-term industry forecast, very high-level overview type meetings and discussions. I didn't see very many that were targeted to helping smaller people just run their business more efficiently. It was really focused on the big players, which, I mean, makes sense because that's where all the money is. I think another issue with Waste Expo, and it could be because of that mentality, but they don't allow filming. So one of the things that really made the GIE or Equip Expo popular was regular guys with small lawn care companies showing up and filming and putting those videos on YouTube. And then more people started doing that, and they saw, hey, there's people like me that are coming to this thing. But Waste Expo doesn't allow filming. I asked several people for permission, and they said very firmly, nope, we've only got a couple of people that we allow to film. They film for ourselves, and they do all our promotional work. You're not allowed to film anything. Now, I still filmed a couple of things, as you can see in the video, but it wasn't the type of stuff I used to do at the trade show I'm used to, where I could interview the exhibitors, where I could talk about their products, where we could get all kind of camera angles. So hopefully that changes in the future too, because I do think the highlight of the trip for me was bumping into somebody that I had met in a Facebook group, meeting him face to face for the first time and spending 20 or 30 minutes talking. It wasn't the meeting in room W1216 that you had to pay $600 to be a part of that was a keynote address from somebody I've never heard of, talking about things I can't begin to understand. The second best thing was touching base with the exhibitors. There were many exhibitors that were showing off a lot of products that really we need, especially in the safety, personal protection, things to make our job a little bit more efficient, but also a lot safer. And so being able to touch base with them and talk to them and explain, this is a situation I'm in. Do you have anything that could even help us, or are we too small to be on your radar? And having almost all of them say, no, we absolutely can help. Here's the products we have for folks your size. So that's all a very large ramble. It's all my personal opinion, so you've got to take it with a huge grain of salt. And the next Waste Expo isn't even next year. They're switching it to every other year. And again, I don't know anything about about trade shows, but doesn't that indicate something isn't successful behind the scenes? If you have something successful, you do it every year, right? So going from once a year to every other year, I think that shows there's some opportunity for engagement, maybe lowering ticket prices to something like GIE does, where they basically give away passes because they realize a lot of their value in the show is in people coming and making it a social event. Now, it's way too early for me to know if I'll be able to attend that one or not, but I like to think that I will. And if you're interested in going, I'm going to put a link to a Facebook group. I tried to start one for this year, a little community meetup. It didn't really get any traction because I didn't know anything about the event or the location, but I really would like to, in 2027, put something together for the smaller guys, the solo operators, the mom and pops, where we can get together, and even if it's just at Tacos El Gordo, which is a little restaurant we found, it's within walking distance of the Las Vegas Convention Center. They got some delicious tacos, excellent food. But even if it's something like that, grabbing a group photo, I'd love to do that. So I'll put the link for that down there below. The other thing I'll put the link for is Jobber started their round of grants for this year. They're giving away $10,000 grants. You don't have to sign up for Jobber. You don't have to pay any money. This isn't a scam. They do this every year where they give away these grants. The link for that will be down in the description below, where if you have a home service business, I think it takes like 2 minutes or less to sign up for it. And if you win, you get $10,000 to do whatever you want with. And again, you don't have to sign up for Jobber. You don't have to be a Jobber customer to enter that. If you've been to WasteExpo, let me know what you think. Was I way off the mark? Did I see the same things you saw? I'd love to hear your thoughts, and as always, we'll see you guys in the next one.